take his phone Friday night, Shabbat Shalom, throw it in the junk drawer, and he would come in, open the junk drawer. Everyone has a junk drawer. Open the junk drawer, said Shabbat Shalom. He would turn off his phone and he would shove it in the junk drawer and he would say Shabbat Shalom. And you will not be shaken because you are covered by the blood of Jesus.
What is really happening with Erika Kirk's eyes every time she says the name Jesus? People keep replaying the clip nonstop because that moment feels off in a way that's hard to ignore. Her face tightens up, her stare shifts sideways, and for a split second it looks like she checks out completely.
Compelled by how close she is with her cousin, this Nicole Rothstein, who defends her in the comments currently, by the way. And Nicole Rothstein was like, I'm her cousin, she's half Jewish.
Online viewers are saying it doesn't come off as calm or spiritual at all, with some straight up saying it doesn't look like reverence. Instead, people are calling it forced, stiff, and seriously uncomfortable to watch. But what really blew things up was the comparison that followed. Erika didn't just talk about faith, she put herself next to Mother Mary, and that's where jaws dropped. That's not something believers usually say out loud, especially during public interviews. And folks online are saying that move felt wild, bold, and way out of pocket.
Gotta go. This is the most insane investigation yet. A 20-year cover-up and manipulation of USA Christians.
For a lot of viewers, it didn't feel like devotion at all. It came off more like self-elevation, and that turned people off fast. The vibe felt polished for attention, not grounded in faith, and people clocked that immediately. And this wasn't some random clip taken out of context either. It fit a pattern that folks were already side-eyeing. Back in January 2024, Erika showed up on the Blessings and Motherhood podcast and compared her own birth experience with her daughter to the biblical story of Mary and Elizabeth. That comparison sparked instant backlash because listeners felt it crossed a line from sharing belief into something that felt performative and uncomfortable to watch.
When I found out I was pregnant, I went back to the beginning when Mary, when she found out or went through the Immaculate Conception, all of that, and then went to Elizabeth and that interaction that they had together that was so intimate and so beautiful.
People said it sounded more like a stage moment than a personal testimony. Now the question keeps getting louder by the day. Is Erika just bad at explaining what she believes, or is she deliberately using heavy religious imagery to build a storyline that boosts her image? And this is where the situation starts sliding into much darker territory.
Mary, the mother of Jesus, standing at the foot of the cross.
Publicly documented information shows something that shocked a lot of people right away. Erika does not come from a traditional Christian background at all, and that detail changed how viewers looked at everything she said next. On top of that, she's confirmed to have ties to two controversial families, the Rothsteins and the Solomons. These aren't random rumors or sketchy screenshots floating online. The connections are on record, written down, and traceable, and they've been checked carefully.
Because they won't. This world will not break you. And you will not be shaken because you are covered by the blood of Jesus.
Break those links down step by step, but first, it's important to rewind to the footage that seriously rattled viewers. Since Charlie's death, Erika has leaned hard into talking about faith during interviews, saying religion is what's helping her cope. But people caught on to something strange almost immediately. She never actually says Jesus. She never says Christ. Instead, she sidesteps both names completely and repeats the same vague word over and over again: Lord. And for a lot of viewers, that didn't feel comforting at all. It felt like a warning sign flashing bright red. This reaction didn't stay buried in comment sections either. It jumped straight into mainstream conversation fast. Even Candace Owens brought it up directly on her show, reading comments from her own followers who noticed the exact same pattern. Over and over again, people pointed out that Erika talked about faith, but never once said Jesus Christ by name, and that omission felt strange to many watching. That's when things started moving quickly. After Candace highlighted it and the clip spread everywhere, it became clear Erika noticed the shift in public reaction. Because not long after that moment went viral, Erika suddenly said Jesus out loud for the first time since Charlie's death. But instead of easing concerns, it had the opposite effect. Viewers instantly replayed the footage frame by frame, and what they spotted only made them feel even more uneasy than before.
I truly believe that the Lord uses everything. So for me, what I see that as is opportunity. Here I am, Lord. Use me. So let the Lord.
The shift in Erika's expression, the change in her eyes, and the tension across her face when she said the name stood out in a way people couldn't brush off. It felt sudden, sharp, and noticeable, and that's when the conversation really exploded. At that point, viewers weren't just nitpicking language anymore. They started questioning the whole moment. People began asking whether what they were seeing was genuine belief or something that felt forced and performative. One user on X wrote that Erika's eyes looked unsettling and tense when she spoke the name Jesus, saying it seemed like she was uncomfortable saying it out loud. Another person added, "If you can watch Erika Kirk and not think this behavior is odd, then you're not paying attention." Others zoomed out even more and questioned the sincerity altogether, saying the entire moment felt off, staged, or emotionally disconnected in a way they couldn't ignore.
Right, why can't she spell out G-O-D? It reminds me of how Erika never says Jesus Christ. She just can't say it. She only ever says the Lord or God. I wonder which Lord and God she's really talking about.
The comment flat out read, "I don't think she's a Christian. Probably half of the people who say they are act like it but aren't." Another person piled on, saying, "She's jumping out with fireworks. What a joke." And to be clear, these are public opinions and reactions, not statements of fact. But what made this situation harder to shut down was how many people, completely independent of each other, kept pointing out the same exact patterns over and over again. That's when the conversation shifted into something much bigger. People stopped focusing only on her words and started asking a deeper question next.
America is significantly underwriting the Israeli government $4 billion a year. We as American taxpayers deserve answers to this.
If Erika isn't being fully honest about her faith, then what exactly is she presenting herself as to the public? That question didn't come out of nowhere. It hit hard and spread fast. And this is where the rabbit hole drops even deeper. Speculation around Erika didn't start with religion alone. It really took off after she began reshaping the public narrative around what Charlie stood for, what he believed, and how his legacy should be remembered. Once people felt like history itself was being rewritten, trust started cracking. That's when viewers say the entire narrative began falling apart in real time.
Charlie and I have always been very clear on our stance. Israel, Jewish people. It's awful.
Shortly before Charlie was killed, he had publicly called out certain TPUSA donors and made his political position crystal clear. He openly pushed an America First stance and never backed down from controversy when it came to money, power, or outside influence. That was part of his public record, and he didn't hide it. But after his death, supporters noticed something strange happening, and it happened fast. Erika started speaking as if that history never existed at all. The tone shifted, the messaging changed, and suddenly it felt like Charlie's past views were being brushed aside. Viewers said it looked like his stance was being reshaped in real time. Even more confusing, people felt Charlie was now being portrayed as someone who cared more about a certain foreign nation than his own country. That's when alarms really went off. Supporters said the story stopped lining up because Charlie's past statements were still out there, documented, searchable, and impossible to erase. And once people noticed that disconnect, trust started slipping fast. Yet the version being presented now felt completely different, according to journalist James Lee. And this is also where Erika's personal backstory started making people pause and look twice. That roommate Erika always mentioned living with in New York, turns out that wasn't just some random friend she happened to share an apartment with. James Lee claims that person was actually Erika's cousin, Nicole Rothstein. Once that detail surfaced, the internet flipped straight into detective mode. Screenshots, timelines, names, everything started getting pulled apart piece by piece. Then Jason Lee uncovered receipts that pushed things even further. He found a comment left by Nicole Rothstein herself under a video where Erika was talking about her Shabbat celebrations. The comment wrote, "As her cousin, who is fully Jewish, half of her family is Jewish. While she herself is a Christian, she has celebrated many Jewish holidays with our side of the family and highly respects the Jewish religion." That comment spread fast and added a whole new layer to the conversation. And here's the part that made even more people uneasy, because this is where the questions really started stacking up fast. That comment didn't stay up for long. It was later deleted, but by the time it vanished, the damage was already done. People had screenshotted everything, and Jason Lee had archived the comment before it was taken down.
Yeah, now that's hard to see, but
once that happened, the conversation didn't slow down, it sped up. Online sleuths started digging even deeper into Erika's extended family background. They weren't throwing out random accusations or wild claims. They were tracing names, checking records, and sticking strictly to publicly available information.
She responded by saying, quote, "As her cousin, who is fully Jewish, half of her family is Jewish. While she herself is a Christian, she has celebrated many Jewish holidays with our side of the family and highly respects the Jewish religion." You can see the name and handle, Nicole Rothstein.
And one detail kept popping up again and again in those searches. The Rothstein name itself carries historical weight, and once viewers realized how closely Erika was connected to that side of the family, the questions multiplied fast. At that point, for many people, this stopped being just about politics or religion. It turned into a bigger conversation about transparency, consistency, and whether parts of Erika's story were being selectively presented all along.
Brooke's backstory has just been exposed as a giant lie, allegedly.
When I lived out here, I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was.
Going back to Arnold, and this is where the timeline really starts making people look twice, Arnold is a name that's historically been linked by researchers and historians to organized crime circles from the early 20th century. That era was already packed with financial power plays, backroom deals, and shadowy influence, and people online were quick to point that out. According to online researchers, that connection wasn't the end of it either. Based on Jason Lee's research, Erika is also tied to another controversial family, the Solomons. This reported link comes through her Aunt Carla, who married Jack Solomon, tying Erika's extended family into a completely different circle of wealth and influence. Once that detail surfaced, viewers said the web of connections started looking way bigger than anyone expected. According to publicly shared information, Erika's Aunt Carla, also known as Fran V., who is Kent's sister, married Jack D. Solomon in Las Vegas. Carla, now known as Carla Franz V. Solomon, is said to currently live in Salt Lake City, where she reportedly runs an investment-related business. All of this information has been pulled from records people can access, and it immediately caught attention online. But it's Jack Solomon who really made people stop and look twice. He's been widely described as a casino tycoon, most notably linked to the Colorado Bell Casino in Laughlin, Nevada. That association alone raised eyebrows because it ties Erika's extended family to a powerful corner of money, gaming, and influence that many viewers didn't expect to see connected to her story at all.
Phone Friday night, Shabbat Shalom, throw it in the junk drawer, and he would come in, open the junk drawer. Everyone has a junk drawer. Open the junk drawer, said Shabbat Shalom. He would turn off his phone and he would shove it in the junk drawer and he would say Shabbat Shalom.
Jack Solomon's business footprint alone was enough to spark serious curiosity, and that still wasn't the full picture. Public information shows he's also been linked to major restoration projects overseas, including work connected to Jerusalem's historic Zion Gate. That detail immediately put him on the radar of people who were already questioning Erika's family background and the circles connected to it. On top of that, publicly available records describe him as a trustee of the Hebrew University and a major donor to the Jerusalem Foundation. Those roles place him firmly inside elite academic and philanthropic spaces, worlds that feel far removed from the down-to-earth image Erika often presents publicly.
We have the most amazing Turning Point USA family. They've rallied around myself, my children, and, chosen family is everything. And then, of course, we're blessed with our family.
Once people lined those details up, the contrast became hard to ignore. And then there was one specific moment that really poured fuel on the speculation fire, because that's when online discussion shifted into overdrive and people started asking even sharper questions. Erika herself once posted on Instagram that her family has a dedication sign in Jerusalem tied directly to the restoration of the Zion Gate. She even shared a photo from the trip, casually mentioning a woman she met during her visit. At the time, the post didn't raise many alarms, but once it resurfaced, everything changed fast. When people connected that post with the publicly available records, it added a whole new layer to the discussion. For many viewers, this stopped being about faith, timing, or coincidence altogether. It became about how many powerful connections seem to overlap quietly behind the scenes, without ever being fully explained. And once that realization hit, the questions didn't slow down, they multiplied fast. Screenshots spread, timelines tightened, and attention shifted to a new name that suddenly mattered a lot.
Erika Francev, 2019, and Yair Netanyahu. Shabbat Shalom.
For Turning Point USA and Turning Point USA Faith. And I knew Charlie Kirk personally. I want to say on the record that there was a inner circle at Turning Point USA that was constantly working against Charlie and his interests and what he wanted to do, as well as there was a Jewish influence in Turning Point that he was not very fond of, that he wanted to get rid of. He tried doing this, he tried creating a Doge department, and he got... Another thing that makes me believe this inner circle was constantly working against Charlie was the stock market branch. Now, the thing about this branch is it's been getting millions of dollars poured into it over the past 4 years now, and that's been seen through their latest tax returns. This stock market group that Turning Point has been throwing millions of dollars into the stock market for the past 4 years now, and Charlie Kirk had no knowledge of that whatsoever. Make it make sense. That sounds like money laundering to me. It sounds like there's some pyramid scheme going on behind the scenes at Turning Point that Charlie did not know about.
Meet Darla, a Romanian Jew who now calls Israel her home. She was sitting by my family's dedication sign for restoring the Zion Gate in Jerusalem. That was Erika's own caption, and once people saw it resurface, the conversation lit back up instantly. Screenshots started circulating again, and viewers said it added fuel to a discussion that never really died down. Because when people looped this back to the Solomon connection, another detail jumped out that many online said was impossible to ignore. According to publicly circulating reports, back in 1995, Erika's uncle Jack Solomon served as a board member for the newly formed Center of Jewish Studies at Utah Valley State College, the same university where Charlie was later assassinated. That overlap alone made people stop and reread the timeline. When researchers pulled up the center's archived mission statement, the reaction intensified even more. The stated goal was to, quote, bridge the gap between Jews and Mormons and guide the relationship with Israel. That wording made a lot of viewers pause hard. And this is exactly why one question keeps resurfacing and refuses to go away. Is Erika even Christian? At this point, people say it's no longer just about family ties. It's about consistency, transparency, and a story that feels more complicated the deeper you look. People keep pointing to her behavior, the way she talks about faith, the careful word choices, the sudden shifts, and those unsettling expressions that show up at key moments. Every time religion comes up, viewers notice the same tension, the same awkward pauses, and the same strange energy that's hard to explain. Then there are the actions that left a lot of people completely stunned. From what viewers describe as bizarre, almost ritual-like stunts, including recreating a replica of the tent where Charlie was assassinated and then charging people to take selfies inside it. That moment alone stopped many people in their tracks. To many watching, none of this feels aligned with Christian values at all. They say it doesn't look like faith, it looks like a performance, a spectacle, and possibly a cover for something else entirely. That's why this conversation hasn't slowed down, it's blown wide open. Because when belief, money, influence, and image collide like this, people start questioning everything they're being shown. And now it's your turn. What do you think is really going on here? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like the video if this breakdown helped connect the dots. Share it so others can see what's being discussed, and subscribe for more deep dives like this. I'll see you in the next one.